Welcome, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully, we are all doing good. Today, I want to do a live session, tape reading a little bit of the PM session, and I will be taking a look at price action and giving you a breakdown or my view on what is happening in the marketplace or what I expect to take place over here. All right. We're looking at NASDAQ 1 minute chart. Let's go ahead and switch over to daily. Let's go over to dollar index. Let's start with dollar index. We can start with a weekly chart. We can see that dollar is, it's basically in between a whole bunch of PD arrays over here. We traded into this monthly fair value gap. And we've also got this fair value gap sitting over there, which is now currently trading inside of. Going down to a daily, we can see we moved away from this monthly fair value gap. We traded down, we traded into this daily order block over there, and we rejected this. And we also have this little weekly inversion fair value gap noted. We can see price has just been chopping around lately. The last week, not much has been going on over here as far as price action. By the way, just let me know if the audio is good. Let's just see if the audio is going over here before we get into this. See if I can get a link going. Quickly post a link on the Telegram channel. See if I can get that, figure that out. Let's see. Just give me 1 second. Just let me know if the audio is good. You should be able to hit me up in the chat. We can just know if the audio is going over here. Let's see. Live sessions. Let me quickly post this. Okay, there you go. Telegram's got the link. Let me post the link on Twitter, and then we can start this broadcast. Okay, there we go. I probably should have done that beforehand, but anyway, it's done now. So there we go. That should be good. Perfect. Okay, welcome everybody. If you're just tuning in now, we are going to take a look at, we're going to review the price action for this week. And we're going to do a little bit of a tape read for the PM session. I doubt that we will get any good price action, as price action has been pretty bad this morning. All right. So looking at the daily chart of DXY, we traded into this daily order block. We rejected that last week. We traded through this weekly inversion level right there, as you can see. So my expectations coming in today, I wanted to see dollar retest this, and then I wanted to see lower prices aiming for this old low. And of course, you can take this wick and you can take your fib and you can place the fib on that, and you can get 50% of this. Get consequent encroachment of this wick. We can do that. And you can see we traded into this level and we have rejected it. I would have liked to see price action trade to this level and continue trading through it. But as you can see on a 15-minute, we basically traded into this level and we have ever since moved back up into this inversion, and we've hung around pretty much for the remainder of the day. Let's take a look at the E-mini. As far as ES, it's really messy. Not much going on over here. Looking at a weekly chart, we traded away from this daily balanced price range, which that has been on the chart. It's been on the analysis for a couple of weeks now, if you followed along. Basically on a daily, if we get expect bearish prices on dollar, then I'm looking for anything bullish on futures. So we created this massive gap last week, Thursday, and I'm expecting price to react off of this bullish and then target this old high as well as this one up here. But the price action has been very bad on ES. So I've been looking at NASDAQ for the most part. If we look at the NAS, then we had that same fair value gap, and price action has just been quite messy. We traded this fair value gap yesterday, reacted off of it, and price basically just came back down and closed in. And today we traded into it again, and we have been trading off of this level quite unclear, if I could say it that way. Starting out this morning, New York's AM session, when I sat down, I initially was looking at price targeting these highs up here. On lower time frames, these would be equal highs. And I was looking at this fair value gap, and I also saw that we traded into this fair value gap on the daily time frame, which that set the stage for me to be looking for bullish prices. Let's quickly jump into a 1-minute time frame. Let's just review this price action we had this morning. Let's go ahead and mark out that gap. Let's mark this out. Let's jump into a 1 minute. So there's that gap on the 15 minute, that fair value gap. So basically what happened, price just massively traded down, right? Early AM session, 7 o'clock, price open up, traded down to call this sell side, and price immediately reversed. And I was looking for longs to target these highs up there and these highs up there. Now those are equal highs, and that's the reason why I was looking for longs ideally. Price never presented my model, so there never was an entry for me to get involved into this price action. So there really was not any trade idea for me here. No breaker block at the low, and over here we do have a little breaker block right there, low, high, lower, low. If you look at this breaker block and extend that through in time, then as you can see, this is a mess. This is a clear mess. There would just have been no trade at all over here. 920, if you look at the 930 opening, then you can see price. Look at that, price was just being chaotic and all over the show, and it's already shown signs that it just wants to chop around for the day. So there wasn't much going on this morning, so no trade really for me at all. I expected chop, and as well as the fact that we were chopping around in here. If you look at DXY, let me go take a look at the 930 opening price and look at the price action around this. See how this is conflicting. 930 opening right over here. You can see we were basically sitting sideways. Whereas I would have liked to see price trading lower so that ES and NQ had the opportunity to give us higher prices. Now this was that little weekly high fair value gap there. Initially, when I came to the chart and I looked at this idea, I would have liked to see price trade into this level like it did over here. I wanted to see that, and it kind of started trading into it over there, but not deep enough for me to have a strong enough confluence that I would have wanted to get involved into it. So a very, very messy morning of price action today. It only started dropping down 10:45, which if we take a look at 10:45, not much was happening at all. Indices had we had a small run up higher, but nothing spectacular. Nothing that I would be chasing or nothing that would make me want to get involved with that trading idea. So we're a little bit late on the PM session, but we still have some time over here. So looking at this, I was looking at a daily week consequent encroachment. These are all now draws that we could utilize. These equal highs. We can also use this high over there as well. That would be a draw, as well as we can see price is really stretching his legs now, only after honestly chopping around all day and clearing out these lows. We still have clean levels over there. These two clean equal highs. So I expect price to draw up higher. And again, our dear friend dollar is just not playing along with us, trading with the averages. I don't like to see dollar trading with the averages. I prefer to see dollar trading against my averages. If I look at this chart on a 15-minute, I don't see much here that would want to make me get into any positions. A lot of mess and chop and very unclean price action over here. No clear PD array that I would use to key off of in a lower time frame. Let's switch up to higher time frames. The only real thing that just jumps out at me immediately is the fact that we took these 1 hour sell stops. So basically like a turtle soup idea. So we took these stops out and we expect price to trade to the highs. And even if I use this, then I still really don't have any model that I can key off of that. It's going to give me a clean entry in price. Even if I was looking to trade the 130 model, then price action was not very clear. I mean, I can see a breaker block over here. That up candle could be a breaker block. I doubt that I would have engaged price with this breaker block. We also have, I would use these consecutive down candles as an order block. Trade it through it, put it into that little inversion over there. Price rallied. We have another order block. Price traded inside of this and rallied away. Although to me, this is not a textbook setup. It's not clean. It's not something that I would like to be sitting inside of. If you were inside of this setup, you would have sat through 7 minutes of drawdown, not to mention the fact that my stop, if I took this position, then my stop would probably have to be, my stop would have to be below this candle, because that's what created that inversion over there. So price wouldn't be coming near my stop, but at the same time, I just wouldn't want to sit through this. It's not a clean setup, in my opinion. And look at how price really just hung around spent a lot of time hanging around in here. Market maker buy model. If I look at this, I would be going for about 5 or 10 handles, which would be around 12%, gives me about 5.75, around about 5.75, 6 handles. Look at the time you would be that would be spent sitting in this, at least 20 minutes, which 20 minutes is quite a long time for me to sit in, to be in a position. That's a long time for me. For 10 handles, you would be looking at 39 minutes. Most of my trades are a couple of minutes, and I usually go for about 5 or 6 handles, and it's basically down 4, which it's a couple of minutes. It's not even 3 or 4 minutes, and then the trade is basically over and done with. So sitting inside of consolidation like this, that to me, that's a clear sign that, price action is probably going to be in a high resistance liquidity run. If price action is not clean like this, again, that's another indicator that we're sitting in high resistance liquidity runs. Just messy overall. Let's look over here. So next macro should be starting in a while. 250. Let's see if 250 to 310. Let's see if that gives us anything that would provide a reason to get into a trade. And we're not getting into any trades. We are simply reading price action over here. Horizontal. Is this going to be right? No, it's not going to work. Vertical line. I just wanted to note the time. That's for you guys to see when the macro starts. 15:10. There we go. So that's the macro time. So if I look at that macro, we have a ton of fair value gaps in here. We have an inversion sitting over there. I like this. My eye draws to this low, high, lower, low. This is breaker block. I like this breaker block. I'll take a note of this 15-minute breaker block. So let's look at this breaker block that draws my eye. So that's the breaker block. Now we would have to find a entry model, and we need to wait for time to align before we could take any trades in this. Let's see how this goes. I'm wondering if I could also use the wick. See what levels that gives. That gives me this level as well over here with this order block. Just really messy. Just really not clean. No clean, clear model. And price still has to run up there, which we still have a decent amount of room. You can easily still get 5 handles out of this. And that's just the first high. That's not even looking at any of these other highs. So there's still opportunity in this market. Again, we've already established that we want to be bullish because of the fact that dollar has traded inside of its inversion and it's rejected off lower, and NAS has traded inside of its daily fair value gap, and we are expecting higher prices. So there's no need to be bearish inside of this market at all. You're definitely going to be burned if you're going to want to be bearish inside of this market. So we're waiting on the macro, and we will see what price gives us to work with as far as an entry model, which could be fair value gap, it could be a order block aligned with a fair value gap. We will see what it gives us. Even looking at the 5-minute, this is not the best price action. And we really rallied quite a lot. How much did we rally? About 67 points, which that's quite a lot. Perhaps the PM session or at least the last hour wants to give us a retracement move and just retrace back into this range. But I still wouldn't favor that idea though. These highs up here are way too clean. I would love to see price rally and take those highs out. I just wouldn't want to be shorting in this. The probabilities of shorting is just way less to me than everything is pointing towards a higher time frame rally in Nasdaq. What's dollar doing though? Dollar is rallying, which not something that we really want to see at this point. I really didn't want to see dollar rally. It's trading back into this morning range. Just really messy. Just Z day price action. Not clean at all. Very, very low probability trading conditions. Just not clean. Not one directional. Not one directional at all in this price action. Okay, so we just traded this the low of this breaker block, and we had a tiny rejection off of it, which honestly means nothing to me. We would need a clear fair value gap, order block, or breaker block, or something of that sort to be able to capitalize on this move, which of course we're not going to be doing because this is a tape reading session and probabilities are low here, so it's not worth putting your money into any trades when the markets are not high probability. It's not worth opening up risk. We're inside the macro. Price has tapped this breaker. All we had was this little fair value gap. Hmm, I don't know. I'm not feeling that fair value gap. We also have this low high, lower low, which would be a higher up breaker block. That would be a higher breaker block. Again, it's just so unclean. Price is just not very clean at all. So let's say, okay, we traded that 15-minute breaker block, the higher one, and we have a fair value gap there. I just don't like this price action. Then an entry would probably look something like if you were trading a 2022, stop would have to be below this gap, because we had two fair value gaps. We had the order block sitting there, and take profit would have to be there is 5 or 6 handles up there. Let's just move this thing. That's fine. So, okay. So I'm not going to look at this breaker block. I'm going to look at this one. Let's just denote the mean threshold of it. Just eyeball it. Mean threshold of the breaker block. And we would be looking at this 1 minute fair value gap. Look at this price action already. It's very messy, not clean at all, not tap the level and run. Let's see what it does though. Let's just open this chart up a little bit. So right now, we're inside of the macro 250 to 1, 250 to 310. So I want to see price reaching for this high. I don't really like that as as an order block since we didn't have any fair value gap. So I don't like that level. But irregardless, I'm just marking it up. We're managing the position now. Okay, so dollar is slightly falling. But I don't like the fact that the futures are... It looks like they are trading with one another, which I don't want to see. I want to see them being opposing. Let's see. It looks like they are trading opposing. Okay. So we traded back into this order block level over there. And we rejected it. And we're rallying higher. So I want to see price speed up to reach for this high. I want to see speed going up there. Price wants to get out of there, then we should see some speed. DXY is going lower, ES is trading higher. Great, everything is now in alignment. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. So we will see if we can target this high up there. But this will be a partial. That will be a partial. So now I would look at this. That order block has to respect price. And I want to see speed getting above here now. I want to see speed going above. Price should be reaching for this. I don't want to see price reaching back into this order block. I want to see speed going through this now. My stop can now be reduced to below this fair value gap. Price shouldn't have any reason whatsoever to go back down there. So that should be fine. I want to see it tap the high now. DXY is still reaching lower. DXY should be going for this liquidity. ES already cleared its high. I believe NAS is gonna clear its high now. See, this is what I don't like over here. I don't like how we have these small little candles all over the place. By now, I would have wanted to see price just stab right up there and not hang around like this. Price hanging around like this tells me that we probably will come back down into this order block. Low probability trading conditions. Just not clean at all. See how dollar just is freezing in there? It's not a good sign. It's not good. We're crouching below the high. There we go. Let's just put this up here, and we are taking a partial there. That'll be a partial because I said we will target, if I can get this thing, we're going to target this high. That would almost, wouldn't be, it'll be, let's just say it'll be 28 points. It's not going to be, it'll probably be something like 15 or something. Excuse me, it's not going to be 15. It's probably going to be about 8 or run about their handles. Since we took that high, there's honestly no reason for price to want to, at this point I would be break even on the position. There should be no reason for price to come back into that. Come back down there. Look at all that price action over there. It's all balanced. So this area is pretty balanced. I wouldn't want to see it trading back there. But this is high resistance liquidity run. Not good price action at all. So I want to see price respect this order block. By the way, if you don't know, this is a 15-minute. It's a 15-minute high, by the way. And then we have another one up there. We also have this one down here as well. We can mark that as well. Which that's over there. See, I don't like this. I don't like that. If price really is in a hurry to get somewhere, it would be trading up higher now. It would not be coming back down like this. This is high resistance liquidity run. Signatures of price is just not in a hurry to get anywhere really quickly. Looking at this, we have a low. I would take this candle as my high, or we could use this one probably. ICT likes to use the wicks, so I probably take this swing low up to the high. We got low, high, lower, low, breaker block. So that's inside of a breaker block. I don't like this price action at all. It's most likely going to stop me out or stop the example at break even. It's just thrusting down now. And we can see that dollar has just paused in here too. I don't like that. Although dollar is sitting inside of this fair value gap here, and we're sitting inside of this higher time frame weekly inversion fair value gap. So price should be reaching for these lows down there. but it's probably going to consolidate, maybe run up into this fair value gap up there, and then drop lower below these equal lows in this. Not very clean price action. I gotta say that ES has more strength than NQ, and by the way, NQ has taken us out on the position. It's taken us out on the position back into this fair value gap, which that right there invalidates the trading idea, right? Because we had an order block, a breaker block, another order block. So those are 3 PD arrays. So if my stop is below this order block, or even below this order block, then this trading idea would just be invalidated because of the fact that we invalidated this order block, the breaker block, as well as this order block, which that's 3 PD arrays. So that just takes us out on the trade. And by looking at this, I can just see price is going to be choppy, choppy, choppy. Even if I had my stop where it initially was when I entered the position, which was below the second fair value gap, this is just a choppy mess. So I really don't expect much of price. At this point, the ES is just almost looks cleaner. It's almost got more strength to it than what NASDAQ has. NASDAQ is just a lot weaker because this is not willing to trade below its low again, right? Where NAS was just like, it went right back to its low. And this didn't. If you were in this position, for example, then you would also have a low high and a lower low. In this up candle, look and see how price respected this. And it rallied away. And you had the breaker block, you had a fair value gap over there, and you had an order block. So the stop loss could be there. Could have been below here as well. But as soon as it trades through this, then you would have to take something off. Just completely invalidate that trading idea. Because if price takes 3 PD arrays, then you're probably going to face a stop loss anyways. So it's a good idea to size it down after that. So I feel like NAS is just the sicker sister right now. It's just being a sick sister. I mean, look at how the candles, the tails just reached below these lows into this fair value gap. But the bodies just stayed inside of this breaker block, right? We can get rid of all those levels now and look at how it stayed inside the mean threshold of this order block as well. That just indicates that it still does want to rally. But it's very unclean. Let's see if it can still reach the targets. Let's see if it can still get up to this partial. Take out this high and get up to these high. Let's see though. What's dollar doing? See, I don't like the fact that dollar is sitting around in here. It's just super messy. Super unclean, super messy. I don't like that. Just an example of a very bad day if you were inside of the markets. I mean, look at these candles. It's ridiculous. that is not high probability. It screams low probability, in my opinion. That's why ES is just cleaner. ES is not doing all this wickery all over the place. It's still got a nice target up there too. Nasdaq. I was thought I was on ES. Was I not on ES? What the heck? What the heck just happened? Let's see if it's got any targets. It's got an equal high. Let's take a look at that on the 1 minute. See, that would be an equal high. And we have more equal highs up there. Interesting. Dollar is just chopping around now. And so are the futures. They're all just chopping around. At this point, if my stop was still down here, then I would have just closed the position, because my time stop would have taken me out. And that's just me applying a time stop, saying that, okay, I know that my model plays out a certain way and it takes a certain amount of time to rally and go to my take profit usually. And if it doesn't do that in a certain amount of time, then chances are that I am either going to be stopped out, or I am probably in high resistance liquidity run. So there's multiple ways to, by the way, the macro is over now. Multiple ways to manage your position. It's not just about having 3 PD arrays. You could also have a certain amount of time that you sit inside of a trade before you decide that you want to close the position. And you will only know how long your trades usually take before they pan out. If the setup is good, if it's a good trading day, then you should know how long your model takes to deliver or hit your take profit level. And based upon that, you know how long you should be in a trade. And for me, that's usually it's less than 10 minutes. So anything more than 10 minutes in a trade, and I should start looking at the market conditions. And then we're either going to be in a high resistance liquidity run, or the chances are that I probably am going to take a stop out. And I'm probably wrong. This is just super messy. We're still sitting inside of. We kind of respect the mean threshold of this, right? If I eyeball this, we just eyeball it now. And then we're back above the breaker block. And we also have this inversion, right? So we took the initial high, which that's about 8%. So it's not a lot of handles. it's about 15 points. So it's not a lot. It's not even 5 handles. So that just shows you very small ranges as well. And we can see we're range bound. The moment we came back and did into this and we this tail traded into this, I told you that we are probably going to be seeing range bound conditions. Watch dollar's going to go right into this. We have this what looks like an equal high now, so I would want to see dollar now go into this before it trades down lower. Which means we are trading, expecting a dive into this. There we go, we're slightly diving in. If you look at dollar, see that? Now dollar is inside of this. Now I would want to see dollar rejecting this immediately. There should be no need for it to hang around here. It should reject because it took the liquidity. I also don't like the fact how we are, it looks like price wants to invert this. I don't like that. What's Dow doing? Hmm. I want to see how this candle closes if we close below this fair value gap. Yep, it's closing below, which means dollar should rally. Interesting. Dollar rejected it. Back at it again. It should push futures markets higher, but it's not doing that. It's not doing that. Not at all. A lot of manipulation in here, so it's gonna probably keep pushing lower. So what happened over here? So the breaker block is just about traded through now. We have an order block and we have a fair value gap. So that basically says it's a 3 PD array. So again, that shows you low probability. You should probably expect a stop or you should get out of the position. It's just up and down and sideways in here, honestly. I would love to see price reach up to this high. And I would like to see it reach up to this high. Up there. Everything has been cleared on the board besides this high and this high. And the liquidity resting above here. Those guys have not been taken out. So as far as bias, I am bullish. And the narrative is those equal highs were acting as a magnet. So we should see prices drawing up higher. And we're not seeing that. Dollar is respecting its fair value gap as I anticipated that would. Trade below these lows, trade below these guys. That's beautiful. That's what I would have wanted to see. But now I would want to see that the averages get some fire under their butt, which they just are not getting. It's like low probability. Anyway, I think we will sit around for a couple more minutes and then we're probably going to close this one off. Let's just go through let's go through the market again and just take a look at what I'm expecting. So as far as what I'm expecting, we can go ahead and work it up from a weekly. We traded into this monthly fair value gap, rejected that, bodies closed below it, and we have this weekly, which should now be an inversion level because we traded below that level. We haven't yet closed below the level, but we traded below the level. So let's just say we have a weekly fair value gap over there, which I would love to see price invert this weekly fair value gap and target this low. I would like to see price target this low and then target this one ultimately. So if we go down into the daily time frame there, you can see that we traded. I took note of this wick, took note of this order block. We rejected the order block, closed above the weekly fair value gap. Yesterday we traded below this level, and today we traded into this level, and I expected lower prices. Now we did trade into this consequent encroachment, but that's about as far as it went. Your next levels would be this low, and then we have these relatively equal lows sitting over there. If we look at the NASDAQ, then we had this fair value gap on the weekly. We traded that last week, rallied up. Looking at a daily, we formed this daily fair value gap. We traded into it yesterday. We kind of rallied away, and then we had a not much of a close off of this fair value gap. We can get rid of this now so we can see over here. Today we took out this yesterday's low basically, and then we rallied. Very, very messy day, unclean, not clear, but your targets would be this high, which is basically yesterday's high. This daily week consequent encroachment high, as well as the all-time high, which would be the weekly old high. So overall, I would be bullish. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, I would want to see bullish prices, which we have had bullish prices today, but not clean at all. It's been seek and destroy. If we look at this, up and down, going nowhere. So that's going to be it. We're going to end this stream off over here. Hopefully we get to do another live stream on a different day where price action is a bit cleaner and you guys get to see some better management and some better examples than what was shown today. But today was a very good example of how you should be managing your position if you are in a trade and the trade idea is not panning out like you expect the idea to pan out. It's those long sessions, tape reading and sitting through it. It would be so easy to just blow an account in this condition because you would be getting in over here and then you get stopped out there and then you take another position there and then it rallies and it looks like it's going to go up. It's not going to go up and you take another stop. That's how you blow accounts. So it's good to see this stuff, good to learn this stuff. ICT would say that this is the environments that you want to be tape reading and you want to be learning in. It's good to sit through it and good to know that this is dangerous environments. Good to spot it. Anyway, that's probably gonna conclude the session. Hopefully you have found it insightful and hopefully you have learned something from this. And until the next one, good luck and be safe.